My girlfriend announced, "I'm pregnant. You need to buy us a house now." I replied, "Congratulations on the baby." Then I requested a paternity test before any financial decisions. Her furious meltdown about trust issues revealed she was only 3 weeks along, and I, Drew, 32, male, got the news last Tuesday night. My girlfriend Jessica, 29, of 4 years, we'd been living together for the past year and a half, came home from drinks with the girls around 9 p.m., walked straight into our Portland apartment living room where I was watching the Blazers game, and dropped a bomb. "I'm pregnant. We need to start looking at houses this weekend." Not, "I'm pregnant. We should talk." Not, "I have news." Just straight to demanding a house. I muted the TV. "Okay, wow, that's big news. How far along are you?" 3 weeks. I took 5 tests, all positive. 3 weeks. Something felt off about that, but I pushed it aside. "That's really early to know for sure, right?" She crossed her arms. "The tests don't lie, and we need to be realistic. This apartment is too small for a baby. Your lease renewal is up in 6 months anyway. Perfect timing to buy." We'd talked about buying eventually, but never seriously. Portland's market was brutal, $400K for anything decent in a neighborhood we'd actually want to live in. The idea of jumping straight from renting our cozy one-bedroom in Hawthorne to home ownership felt overwhelming, especially without proper discussion. "What we need to do," I started. "Now, Drew, I'm not raising a baby in a rental. My parents bought their first house before I was born. That's what responsible people do." The entitlement was radiating off her, but I stayed calm. I'd learned over 4 years that Jessica responded better to measured responses than emotional reactions. "Look, this is a lot to process. Let's make a doctor's appointment first, confirm everything. Then we can discuss next steps." "There's nothing to confirm. I'm pregnant." "Are you saying you don't believe me?" "I'm saying 3 weeks is very early, and we should get medical confirmation before making huge financial decisions." She started pacing around our small living room, her heels clicking against the hardwood floors. "Unbelievable. I'm carrying your child, and you're being difficult about securing our future. Do you know how much daycare costs? We need space, a yard, good schools nearby." I could see her mentally calculating expenses, which struck me as odd. Most women I knew who'd gotten pregnant unexpectedly were focused on the emotional aspect first, the practical stuff second. Jessica seemed to have skipped straight to the financial implications. "Okay, but buying a house is a massive commitment. We're not even engaged." Wrong thing to say. Her face went red. "Oh, so you need a ring to take responsibility for your kid? Real mature. My friends were right about you." "What friends? Right about what?" "Never mind. Are you going to step up or not? Because if you're not serious about this family, I need to know now." The manipulation was pretty obvious, but I kept my cool. This wasn't the first time Jessica had used ultimatums to try to force my hand on major decisions. It was becoming a pattern I didn't like. "I'm not saying I won't step up. I'm saying we need to be smart about this. Doctor first, then we can talk about housing." She grabbed her purse from the kitchen counter. "I'm staying at my mom's tonight. Maybe you'll have a better attitude tomorrow." The door slammed behind her, leaving me alone with the muted TV and a head full of questions. After she left, I sat there replaying the conversation. Something was really off. 3 weeks pregnant and already demanding a house? Most people don't even tell anyone that early. Hell, most couples I knew kept the news to themselves until at least 8 weeks, when the risk of miscarriage dropped significantly. I pulled out my phone and Googled pregnancy detection timelines. 3 weeks is basically right after conception. Most women don't even know they're pregnant yet because they haven't missed a period. Home pregnancy tests usually can't detect the pregnancy hormone until at least 4 weeks, sometimes longer, depending on the sensitivity of the test. The timeline felt suspicious for another reason too. I started thinking back over the past couple of months, trying to piece together Jessica's behavior patterns. Then I remembered something from about 8 weeks ago. We'd had a massive fight about me not wanting to buy a house yet. I'd just gotten promoted to senior project manager at the construction company, which came with a decent raise. But I wanted to save more money first, maybe travel to Europe like we'd talked about for years. Jessica had been furious that night, pacing around this same apartment, saying I was afraid of commitment and keeping her in limbo. She'd thrown around phrases like wasting her time and not serious about our future. The fight ended with her saying she needed to reevaluate our relationship and figure out if I was the kind of man she could build a life with. 3 weeks later, allegedly, she's pregnant and demanding immediate house hunting. The timing felt too convenient, too calculated. I called my older brother, Kevin. He's got 3 kids and bought his house in Beaverton 5 years ago, when his oldest was born. If anyone would know about pregnancy timelines, it'd be him. Yo, quick question. Your wife? How early did she know she was pregnant with any of the kids? I think around 5 or 6 weeks with all of them. She missed her period, felt weird, took a test. Why? Jessica just told me she's 3 weeks pregnant. Silence. Then, 3 weeks? Dude, that's like right when conception happens. Even doctors don't usually confirm pregnancy that early. Most women don't even suspect anything yet. Yeah, that's what I thought. What did you say to her? I said congrats and that we should see a doctor to confirm. Everything. Smart move. Don't commit to anything major yet. Something sounds weird about the timeline. Kevin had always been the practical one in our family. When he was skeptical about something, it usually meant there was good reason to be. After we hung up, I made a decision that would either ease my mind or confirm my suspicions. I texted Jessica. Congrats again on the baby. Let's set up a doctor's appointment to confirm everything and get you on prenatal care. Also, I think we should do a paternity test once it's safe. Not because I don't trust you, just want to be 100% certain before we make major financial decisions like buying a house. Make sense, right? I thought it was reasonable. A paternity test is standard procedure these days, and we were talking about a massive financial commitment based on a pregnancy that seemed suspiciously early to detect. Boy, was I wrong about her reaction. My phone started blowing up within minutes. Are you kidding me right now? A paternity test? After 4 years? This is the most disrespectful thing anyone has ever said to me. You're calling me a cheater? Then came a barrage of texts, each one more dramatic than the last. I can't believe you'd accuse me of this. I'm carrying your child, and this is how you respond? You've completely destroyed my trust in our relationship. Then her mom, Helen Caldwell, called at 11 p.m. I almost didn't answer, but figured I should face whatever was coming. How dare you question my daughter's integrity? She's carrying your child, and you have the audacity to demand a paternity test. What kind of man are you? I didn't demand anything, Mrs. Caldwell. I just suggested... You suggested she's a liar, that she's been with other men. She's devastated. She called me crying so hard I could barely understand her. With all due respect, a paternity test is pretty standard these days. It's not about trust. It's about being certain before making major life decisions like buying a house. It's about trust, you fool. If you loved her, you wouldn't need a test. You'd just believe her word. I do love her. I just want medical confirmation of everything before we make huge financial commitments. Well, she's not doing any test. You either accept this baby as yours and buy her a proper home, or she's done with you, and don't think you can just walk away from your responsibilities. Then she hung up. I sat there kind of amazed at the meltdown. A simple, reasonable request for a paternity test had turned into World War III, which made me even more suspicious. I mean, if you're innocent, why get that defensive? Why not just say, okay, whatever makes you comfortable? The reaction felt disproportionate to the request. 3 days later, the situation escalated beyond anything I'd expected. Her dad, Richard Caldwell, called me Thursday morning. We'd met maybe 5 times in 4 years, mostly at family barbecues where we'd exchange pleasantries about work and the weather. Son, we need to talk about this situation. Okay, Mr. Caldwell. My daughter is pregnant with your baby. You need to do the right thing here. I plan to do the right thing. I just want to confirm everything medically first. She already confirmed it. 5 tests, all positive. What more do you need? You calling her a liar? No, sir, I'm saying 3 weeks is very early for detection. And before we buy a house together, I'd like a paternity test. That's not unreasonable. It absolutely is unreasonable. You're questioning her character, her morals. Do you know how competitive the Portland housing market is right now? Houses in good school districts are going fast. You need to make an offer soon if you want to secure something decent. Soon? For a baby that allegedly just happened 3 weeks ago? Sir, with respect, I'm not buying a house this week. This is a huge decision that requires proper planning and consideration. Planning? You should have planned before you got her pregnant. Now you deal with the consequences. Be a man and take responsibility. I'm being a man, a smart one. We'll get medical confirmation, do the paternity test when it's safe for the baby, and then discuss housing options. If you don't buy her a house in the next few months, I'm getting my lawyer involved. You're not abandoning my grandchild or leaving my daughter in some cramped apartment." He hung up before I could point out that I hadn't abandoned anyone and that our apartment was actually quite nice. Later that day, something even stranger happened. Jessica's best friend, Melissa Torres, showed up at my construction site office. She actually drove out to the job site where we were building a new medical complex and asked to speak with me. "Hey, Drew, can we talk?" I stepped outside, away from my crew. "What's up, Melissa?" "What's up? Really? You broke my best friend's heart. She's been crying for 2 days straight." "Look, I just asked for a paternity test. That's standard practice these days." "No, Drew. Demanding proof that you're the father is psychotic behavior. She's been faithful to you for 4 years. She's planning a family with you, and you throw this accusation in her face." "I didn't throw anything. I made a reasonable request based on some suspicious timing." "Reasonable? You're making her feel like trash. She's scared, hormonal, probably dealing with morning sickness, and you're treating her like she's some kind of cheater." "There's nothing wrong with me being practical about this situation." "Practical? You're being selfish and paranoid. She needs security right now. She needs a home. She needs to know you're committed to her and this baby. And I need to know the baby is actually mine before I commit to a mortgage. Pretty simple." She scoffed and shook her head. "You're going to lose her over this stupidity. She's already talking to a lawyer about child support options." "Child support? The baby isn't even born yet. Hell, we haven't even confirmed the pregnancy with a doctor." "Yeah, well, maybe she's realizing you're not the man she thought you were. Maybe she's seeing your true colors for the first time." She left in a huff, and I stood there watching her car pull away, wondering how requesting basic medical confirmation had somehow made me the villain in this story. That night, I decided to do some research. I called my friend Brian Walsh, who works as a realtor in Portland and knows the market better than anyone. I also reached out to Dr. Amanda Foster, who I'd met through work when we built her medical office last year. Brian confirmed what I suspected about the housing pressure. "Dude, Portland market is definitely hot right now, but it's not must buy this week or everything disappears hot. That's artificial pressure. Good houses stay on the market for at least a few weeks, sometimes months if they're priced aggressively." Dr. Foster was even more helpful when I asked her about early pregnancy detection. If someone's 3 weeks pregnant, would 5 home pregnancy tests all show positive? 3 weeks from conception? That would be really unusual. The hormone levels are typically too low for most home pregnancy tests to detect. Most tests can't accurately detect pregnancy until at least 4 weeks, often 5 or 6 weeks, depending on the woman's hormone production and the sensitivity of the test. What if someone wanted to fake being pregnant that early? Well, you could buy positive pregnancy tests online as gag gifts, or borrow urine from someone who's actually pregnant. Some tests can be manipulated if you know what you're doing. Why do you ask? I wasn't ready to answer that question yet, but I was definitely connecting some troubling dots. I started thinking back over the past couple of months, trying to piece together Jessica's behavior patterns and any inconsistencies I might have missed. 8 weeks ago, we'd had that massive fight about the house. 6 weeks ago, she'd been sick for a few days and stayed at her parents' place in Lake Oswego. She'd said she had some kind of stomach bug and didn't want to get me sick before a big project deadline. 3 weeks ago, she'd had a girls' night that lasted until 2 a.m. When she came home, she seemed unusually energetic and excited, talking about how her friends were all moving forward with their lives, getting married, buying houses, having babies. I'd chalked it up to wine and girl talk at the time. Then suddenly, she's pregnant at exactly 3 weeks, demanding a house immediately, and losing her mind when I asked for a paternity test. The timeline felt too convenient, too calculated. I made a decision. I needed more concrete proof of what was really going on. I set up a small camera in the living room, just pointed at the couch where we usually sat to talk. I wasn't proud of it, but something was seriously wrong and I needed to know the truth before making any major financial decisions. Then I texted her, "Can we talk? I want to work this out." She agreed to come over Friday night. She showed up with printouts, house listings from various real estate websites, all neatly organized in a folder with sticky notes marking her favorites. "Look, I found some perfect options. 3 bedrooms, good school districts, under $420,000. With your promotion and the raise you got, you can definitely afford the down payment." My promotion. That's my money we're talking about. It's our money now, Drew. We're having a baby. You can't think selfishly anymore. This is about building a family. I'm not being selfish. I'm being cautious. We're not married. If we buy a house together and things don't work out, things will work out perfectly if you stop being paranoid and start acting like a real partner. It's not paranoid to want a paternity test before committing to a mortgage. Her face turned cold, and I saw something in her expression that I'd never seen before, a calculated hardness that made me uncomfortable. I'm not doing a test, period. You either trust me or you don't. Then I guess I don't trust you completely, not with something this big. Fine, then we're done. And you'll be paying child support for the next 18 years. Hope you're happy. If it's my kid, I'll gladly pay child support, but I'm not buying a house without proof. You're going to regret this decision, Drew. My lawyer says I can get emergency support payments even before the birth. You'll end up paying for my housing one way or another. Your lawyer says that, huh? You already talked to a lawyer about this? She paused, realizing she'd revealed more than she intended. I had to protect myself. You clearly don't care about me or this baby. I care enough not to commit financial fraud based on unverified claims. Fraud? You're accusing me of fraud now? I'm saying something doesn't add up. 3 weeks is really early to detect pregnancy. The timing is suspiciously convenient after our fight about buying a house. You're pushing for immediate action. You're refusing medical verification. Your whole family is threatening me with lawyers. It's all very strange. She grabbed her purse from the kitchen counter. I'm done with this conversation. You'll hear from my lawyer. After she left, I immediately checked the camera footage. She'd left her purse on the couch when she went to use the bathroom, and I watched her come back, glance around to make sure I wasn't nearby, then pull out her phone and make a quick call. Yeah, he's not budging on the paternity test. No, he wants medical confirmation for everything. I know, it's frustrating. Well, what am I supposed to do? I can't exactly tell him the truth because then he'll definitely leave. I don't know. Maybe the timing was off. 3 weeks sounded good when we planned this, but maybe it's too early to be believable. Okay, I'll figure something out. Maybe I can push the due date back or something and say I miscalculated. Yeah, talk to you later. I replayed that conversation 15 times, taking notes. She couldn't tell me the truth about something. The timing was off. 3 weeks sounded good when we planned this. Who was we? Holy hell. She was lying about being pregnant, or lying about how far along she was, or something even worse. 1 week later, I didn't confront her about the recording immediately. Instead, I decided to play it cool and see how far she'd take this deception. I texted her. I've been thinking about everything. You're right. I'm sorry for doubting you. Let's schedule a doctor's appointment together so we can hear the heartbeat and start planning properly. She responded within minutes. Really? You mean it? Oh my God, I'm so relieved. Yeah, I was being paranoid and unreasonable. Let's do this right. Thank you so much, Drew. I knew you'd come around once you had time to think about it. So, when's your first prenatal appointment? I want to be there for everything. There was a longer pause this time. I haven't scheduled one yet. I've been too stressed and emotional to deal with calling doctors. No problem. Let's call your OB/GYN today. I'll come with you and we can ask all the questions together. Actually, I don't have an established OB here in Portland yet. I was thinking of going to my mom's doctor down in Salem. She's been seeing the same practice for years and really trusts them. Red flag. Why would she drive an hour away when there were dozens of excellent doctors in Portland? Oregon Health and Science University had one of the best women's health programs on the West Coast, and it was 20 minutes from our apartment. Okay, well, let's schedule something this week if possible. I'm excited to see our baby on the ultrasound. Let me check with them and get back to you about availability. She never did get back to me about scheduling anything. Instead, over the next few days, the house pressure increased dramatically. It felt like a coordinated campaign. Her mom texted me house listings with messages like, "Found the perfect house, 4-bed, 3-bath, great neighborhood. Can you put in an offer this month before someone else snatches it up?" Her dad called with the name of a mortgage broker. "There's a guy I know who can get you pre-approved fast. What's your current salary? What's your credit score? How much do you have saved for a down payment?" Melissa sent me real estate articles about the Portland market. Houses are going so fast right now. Jessica needs to know you're serious about providing for your family. It was all coordinated. Every single person in her circle was pushing the exact same agenda: buy a house immediately. Meanwhile, I did more research on my own time. If someone's actually 3 weeks pregnant, they wouldn't be showing any symptoms yet. No morning sickness, no fatigue, no breast tenderness, nothing. The hormones wouldn't have built up enough to cause physical changes. But Jessica had been complaining about being tired and nauseous every morning since she'd told me about the pregnancy. I also decided to look at her social media more carefully, going back through several months of posts and photos. 6 weeks ago, she'd posted a photo at a downtown Portland bar with her college girlfriends. In the background of one shot, there was a guy she'd initially tagged in the post, then untagged a few hours later when I'd liked the photo. I checked his profile. Some dude named Matt from her college days, single, lived about 2 hours away in Eugene. Then I found something interesting in her Venmo transactions. 7 weeks ago, she'd paid him $75 with just a beer emoji as the description. I called Kevin again with a hypothetical question. If someone wanted to fake a pregnancy test, how would they do it? You could buy positive pregnancy tests online as novelty items like gag gifts. Or you could borrow urine from someone who's actually pregnant. Some people even use certain chemicals, though I don't know the specifics. Why are you asking me this? Just curious about how easy it would be to fool someone. Dude, is Jessica faking this whole thing? I honestly don't know, but something's really off about everything. Get her to take a test in front of you, like actually watch her take it from start to finish. Don't let her go into the bathroom alone. I texted her the next day. Hey, for my complete peace of mind, would you take one more pregnancy test with me present, just so I can see the result with my own eyes? Are you serious right now? I already took 5 tests. How many more do you want? Just one more, for me, to put this whole thing to rest. No, Drew. I'm not doing a pregnancy test every time you get insecure and paranoid. This is completely ridiculous. Why not? If you're pregnant, it'll show positive again. It would actually prove you right. You should just believe me and trust my word. 1 test. That's literally all I'm asking for. No. And if you bring this up again, I'm blocking your number, and you can communicate through lawyers. Which made absolutely 0 sense. If you're actually pregnant, why would you refuse to take one more test? It would be the easiest way to prove your point and shut me up forever. That weekend, I made a final plan. I told Jessica I wanted to take her out for a nice dinner at one of our favorite restaurants in the Pearl District, to apologize for being difficult and to celebrate our future together. She agreed immediately, clearly thinking she'd won. We went to a upscale steakhouse we'd been to for anniversaries. I was charming, apologetic, everything she wanted to hear. You're absolutely right about everything. I've been paranoid and unreasonable. Let's start seriously looking at houses and planning for our family. Her face completely lit up. Really? Oh my God, yes. I'm so happy you finally came to your senses. I know your mom sent me that list of houses. The 4-bedroom with the big backyard in Selwood looks perfect. Yes, it's absolutely perfect for raising children. And it's still available as of yesterday. Great. Let's put in an offer next week after I get some final financial details sorted out. Next week? Why not this week? Or even tomorrow? Just need to talk to the bank about the mortgage process, get all my paperwork together. You know how these things work. Okay. As long as we're moving forward and you're committed to this. Absolutely committed. Hey, can I ask you something quick? Of course, anything. How far along did you say you were again? 3 weeks. Why do you need to know? Just trying to figure out when the due date would be so we can plan everything properly. She pulled out her phone and pretended to check a pregnancy app. Looks like it would be early November, maybe late October. I did the math in my head. 3 weeks ago from today would put the due date in mid to late October at the earliest, definitely not November. November seems later than I would have calculated. Well, it's not an exact science. Every pregnancy is different. Right, of course. And when do you think we'll have the first ultrasound? Probably in a few weeks when I'm further along. They usually wait until 8 to 10 weeks to do the first real ultrasound. Back at our apartment, she was chatty and excited, making plans for nursery colors and talking about baby names. I was mentally documenting every single inconsistency in her story. That night, I let another week go by, letting her think everything was settled. Meanwhile, I opened a separate bank account and started moving money to protect my finances if this situation exploded. I also scheduled a consultation with attorney Phillips to understand my legal options if Jessica was actually trying to defraud me. If my girlfriend is using a fake pregnancy to manipulate me into major financial decisions like buying a house, what are my legal options? If she's using false pretenses to coerce you into financial commitments, that could potentially be considered fraud, but you'd need solid evidence. Do you have any proof she's lying? I'm working on getting more evidence. Document everything. Save all text messages, record conversations if it's legal in Oregon, take screenshots of anything relevant. And whatever you do, don't sign any mortgage papers or make any major purchases until you know the truth. Friday night, I invited Jessica over one final time. I told her I'd gotten pre-approved for the mortgage and wanted to celebrate before we started house hunting seriously. She showed up with a bottle of non-alcoholic champagne for herself and regular champagne for me. We sat on the couch where I'd hidden the camera weeks earlier. I had my phone recording in my jacket pocket. So, before we put in any offers on houses, I really need to see one more positive pregnancy test. Just one, with my own eyes watching you take it. Is that really too much to ask? Her entire demeanor changed instantly. Are we seriously doing this again? Yeah, we are, because something still doesn't add up for me. What doesn't add up? I'm pregnant. I took 5 tests. What more do you want? I want to watch you take a test right now, fresh out of the box. I don't have any tests with me. I bought some new ones. They're in the bathroom cabinet. Let's go do this together. This is completely insane, Drew. You're being controlling and obsessive. I'm being smart. Take the test, or this relationship is over right now. She stood up, visibly angry. You know what? Fine. I'll take your stupid test. And when it comes back positive, you're going to feel like a complete idiot and you're going to apologize to me. She went into the bathroom. I waited outside the door. 5 minutes passed. You okay in there? I'm trying to pee. It's hard when someone's pressuring you like this. 10 more minutes went by. Do you need any help? No, just give me another minute to relax. 15 minutes total. Finally, the door opened. She came out looking flushed and defensive. Well, I couldn't produce enough urine. Too much pressure. This is a hostile environment. I'm leaving. Show me the test strip. There's nothing to show. I told you I couldn't go. I walked past her into the bathroom. The pregnancy test was sitting in the wastebasket. I picked it up. 1 line, negative. 1 line means negative, Jessica. Those cheap tests are defective. I told you I'm pregnant. Then take another one right now. I'll watch the entire process. You want to watch me urinate? That's disgusting and weird. I'll stand outside the door, but I need to see you take it from start to finish. Absolutely not. This is insane. You're treating me like I'm some kind of criminal. Because you are lying to me. You're not pregnant, are you? Yes, I am pregnant. Prove it. Take 1 test. That's all I'm asking. She started crying. I can't believe you're doing this to me. To us. To our baby. What baby? You just tested negative. Because those tests don't work properly. Then try again with a different brand. I bought 3 different kinds. No, I'm done. You clearly don't trust me at all. This relationship is completely over. She grabbed her purse and headed for the door. I blocked her path. Not until you tell me the truth. Are you actually pregnant? Yes. Then prove it, or I'm calling your mother right now and telling her I think you're lying. Her face went completely pale. You wouldn't dare. Try me. We stared at each other for what felt like forever. Then her shoulders dropped and her whole body seemed to deflate. Fine. You want the truth? I'm not pregnant. Are you happy now? Even though I'd suspected it for weeks, hearing her actually admit it hit me like a punch to the stomach. Why would you do this to me? To us? Because you refuse to commit. We've been together for 4 years, and you won't even seriously discuss buying a house or getting married. What was I supposed to do? Not lie about being pregnant? It was supposed to be temporary. I thought, if we got the ball rolling on buying a house and planning for the future, maybe I could actually get pregnant for real before you figured it out. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. You were going to try to trap me with a real baby after faking the first one? It's not trapping if we're in a committed relationship. It absolutely is trapping, Jessica. This is completely insane. What's insane is you refusing to grow up and take our relationship seriously for 4 years. All my friends are married, buying houses, having kids, and I'm stuck with someone who won't commit. So you decided to lie, manipulate me, and get your entire family involved in pressuring me into buying a house. I did what I thought I had to do to secure our future. Get out. We're done. This relationship is over. Wait, no. We can fix this. I'll actually get pregnant for real this time. I promise. Are you listening to yourself? Get out of my apartment. But I love you. I want to build a life with you. You don't love me. You love the idea of what I can provide for you. There's a huge difference. She finally left, still crying, still trying to justify what she'd done. I immediately sent a group text to her parents and Melissa with a screenshot of our final conversation where she admitted to faking the pregnancy. For the record, Jessica lied about being pregnant to manipulate me into buying a house. She just confessed everything, thought you should know the truth before you continue defending her actions. Radio silence from all of them after that. 2 weeks later, I heard through Brian that Jessica had moved back in with her parents and was telling mutual friends that I had abandoned her during a pregnancy scare. A pregnancy scare. That's what she was calling deliberate fraud and manipulation. As for me, I'm doing great, still in my Portland apartment, which I've realized I actually love. Still got my promotion and the raise. Still got my sanity and my self-respect intact. Most importantly, I learned some valuable lessons that I'll carry forward. When someone shows you they're willing to lie and manipulate to get what they want, believe them the first time. Trust your instincts when something doesn't feel right. And always verify major claims before making life-changing decisions. Also, if someone tells you they're 3 weeks pregnant and demanding immediate major financial commitments, that's probably bullshit. 3 weeks pregnant, my ass.